All right. Crossroads
All right.
Podcast number 68.
Oh,
I'm Jake Ryan,
I'm James LaFountain.
the ghost of podcast past.
Yes, sir.
I'm the ghost of podcast future.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yup.
I'm a time traveler
Mm-hmm.
and time traveling sucks.
Hey, man, we're all just traveling through time.
Ain't that the truth, man? Space and time.
Yup.
Uh, Dude, did you hear something about today, September 24th, being some like doomsday almost type thing?
I just did. I was just looking at Reddit and they were like, oh, you guys said nothing was gonna happen. And then it showed these screenshots of like the president of China apparently was put in house arrest. Allegedly.
The world is gonna end, man.
I mean, seems like any day now, man.
I honestly don't think it ever will, but maybe they'll release the Jeffrey Epstein Island list one of these days.
Yep.
I'm still waiting on that.
I know. I mean, that whole like Ghislaine Maxwell trial thing, and then it just kind of, I mean, she got whatever happened to her, she got sentenced and stuff, but it's like, what?
It just was like nobody ever heard about it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would see these lists on like TikTok or whatever where people would be like, look at this list of all the celebrities and politicians that have been to Epstein Island. And I'm like, who made this list? Like,
Dude, I was watching this video the other day about it was like four times 4chan warned us, and one of them was about this dude who was like talking about working for him, and he was like a driver for him, and then he ended up working on the island and just some of the crazy stories,
hmm.
and you never really know something's made up or not, but
Well, it is scary to think that. I mean, you definitely hear all these things about Hollywood and the government and all these elite people, and I'm like, yeah, dude. Uh, some of the scary stuff I believe is totally believable.
mhm.
But then of course they probably go to some crazy lengths. But I don't know. That's the scary part is that some of that, some of the really scary stuff is real, and that's the
So
scary.
so I've been thinking about something you said, and then something that I've been thinking about just recently, because I've talked about it before how I want to do like, kind of like documentary style or just more like in-depth videos just on a certain topic.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was kind of toying around with that with the podcast, but I don't want to, you know, I don't want to do too much with the podcast. So I was thinking about starting another channel where I do that, have
Doo
like
doo.
fully where I do that.
Yeah.
And so so I could have like fully produced videos and then just kind of research up on a topic and kind of really do it in a kind of more thorough way. And yeah, one of the ideas I had was like, because I've always said this, but just the fact that the word conspiracy has changed so much over time,
Mm-hmm.
and it's kind of lost its original meaning. And you can't really say that anymore without all these different conspiracy theories coming to mind,
Mm-hmm.
when there are actual conspiracies that happen. And I'm not saying like conspiracy theories that have been proven to be true, but the actual definition of the word conspiracy being like, it's like a legal term, meaning that people have conspired to commit crimes.
Right.
So obviously that has happened, but that gets mixed up with the conspiracy theorists and wearing tinfoil
Oh.
hats and stuff.
Oh yeah, where the like for some reason Bigfoot has been lumped into the conspiracy theories,
Yeah, and how is that a
right?
conspiracy? It's not a crime to be
Uh,
Bigfoot.
no, I don't know who he's conspiring with.
Right, he's out there by himself.
Yeah, I yeah, it's a sad Bigfoot life, man. Like he's out there lonely.
Yep.
I don't even imagine him to be like. I mean, I could see him eating fish, but sometimes I'm like, I think he's like friends with the deer. Maybe not.
Yeah.
I'm like, maybe he's out there being like, I must protect the forest animals.
Well, you never know because like gorillas, they're vegetarian. They don't eat meat. They just eat like bamboo and like you know
Hmm.
they don't eat meat, dude. And they're huge.
Dude, that has always kind of blown my mind about just the way that, you know, especially animals are like designed like that, where it's like, dude, they could be
Mm-hmm.
massive, but
Yep.
they don't eat very much. Or I don't know. It's just a crazy thing. And have you seen the machines that will eat like what's the word I'm looking for? Biological things for energy?
Well, I've seen things that are like it was like a robot that was just designed to like ingest and digest food, and then it would like turn it into robot poop.
Wait, what? What's the robot
Yeah.
poop? Like, does it poop out like machinery?
No, no, it's just like you feed it food and then it kind of has this whole digestive system. And then, I mean, I don't know if it uses it for energy, but it just digests the food. Like that's the whole point of the robot.
That would be cool if it turned it into energy. Like it could
Yeah.
use it to like power more electronics. I don't know.
Dude, have you seen that movie? I think it's Ghost Ship. It might be a different movie, but there's this movie about it might have been Ghost Ship actually. Or no, I think I'm conflating two different movies. But it was this ship that was found and it was like abandoned floating around, and there was some sort of project going on where they're like building robots or something like that, and then the robots like gained sentience and started building their own robots on this ship and just started killing everybody.
Wait, are you talking about Love, Death, and Robots?
No, it was old.
Oh, I don't think I've seen it.
Yeah, I don't know why I thought of that.
Well, I do hear more stuff about artificial intelligence all the time nowadays.
Hmm.
And going back to the conspiracy theories, so I see a bunch of these like truthers on the
Yeah.
TikTok, and before TikTok, I seen them all over the web because when I would be looking for space cowboy inspiration, since my space cowboy writings would often be like science fiction,
Hmm.
and I was looking for inspiration from like real life stuff and conspiracy theories that people are like, this is real.
Right.
Like the reptilians in Hollywood and the government.
Yeah.
I was like, this is fascinating and scary to think that, you know, of the possibilities. Like you were saying to I don't know if it was Aristotle, you said that said like to entertain an idea and not, have to completely believe it's true.
Yeah. The quote was, it's the mark of an educated mind to be able to entertain an idea without fully accepting it.
Yeah, so as I started digging into that, right? Being like, okay, what's the deal with the reptilians? Like I've heard of the gray aliens,
Hmm.
but I was like, there's gotta be more to these aliens than just the gray aliens.
Hmm.
And so, that led me to like the flat earth stuff.
Yep.
And beyond just the earth being flat, it all was this like giant conspiracy of like, oh, they're lying to you about all these elite powers are lying to you about the Earth and the planet and us being trapped on like a prison planet,
Mm-hmm.
and that they're designing all these celebrities and highly influential, powerful people to whatever influence you. But
Yep.
then came into play, of course, like the brainwashing MK Ultra, like, well, they're gonna create a programmed, controlled celebrity, like under the spells of their black magic or whatever, and their
Yep.
science. But then it went even deeper into their clones or like some sort of android cyborg.
Yeah,
And I was like, wow, this is getting deep.
for sure.
So I don't know. The ideas of like Tenacious D said, where they're like, so do you think there's some people out there that are actually robots?
Yeah. Right. I mean, dude, the more shit I see, I mean, kind of going back to that Aristotle quote, like that's kind of always been my philosophy with anything, really. People get so caught up on being right or trying to prove something or like trying to enlighten people and all that. Um, but if it's something you can't really prove, then um, you know, which is most things, is
Dude,
pretty
yeah.
pretty much everything. Like, the only thing you really know for certain is that you're gonna die, and that's about it.
But maybe you won't die. Maybe they'll turn us all into cyborgs and you'll never have to die unless your
It's
battery
true.
dies
Dude,
or
yeah. I
something. I
don't
don't know.
I don't yeah, I don't know. Um,
The
I think
simulation.
right. Yeah, really it's just like you get so caught up on believing or disbelieving, and I think it's all interesting.
Well, it is. And like you're saying, like things you can't prove, where where it really started to trip me out going down these rabbit holes of truth seeking, like what is the meaning to life? What's going on here? Is it really a great deception that they don't want us to know the truth of our reality, so everything is a lie, right?
Mhm.
Was shit, I lost my train of thought.
Well, I mean, kind of what I was getting at with the whole like the terminology of the word conspiracy. I think that honestly is one of the biggest conspiracies because say a lot of this stuff is true and then a lot of this stuff is like designed misinformation, like stuff
Mhm,
that is being put out there like false misinformation about stuff like, whatever reptilians or just stuff that, they mix it with stuff that's totally believable and then there's stuff that's completely unbelievable.
mhm.
So like I know people when they hear that word and you bring up any theory or conspiracy that people automatically just discount you because of all the crazy crazy stuff that people have out there. And I think it is important because at the basis of it is like question everything. And I think that's an important uh it's an important thing to do. Like I mean even stuff like just normal stuff, like um just like with some of the like self-improvement stuff that I've been reading, even the questioning that, like is this person right? Or because it's so easy to like people really do get addicted to that stuff, and then they'll just take it all as gospel. And just to really like look inside yourself and be like, do I really believe this, or am I being influenced to believe this, or am I being influenced to not believe this?
So that's what I was gonna say earlier. Now I remember my train of thought. It was about the deeper I look into these things, it went into like the ancient stuff or like belief systems
Hmm.
where course, they would take multiple cultures, multiple different religions, and, point out the similarity, connect the dots between them all.
Yeah.
And like you're saying, the deceptions of like belief systems, like the people in power, if they create a church or a religion to
Hmm.
control their people. And that's the other thing. It's like you really can't prove that stuff. Like it's so hard to like
Yeah.
how you can prove that heaven exists or that hell
Right.
exists. And like so today on my TikTok, I get this thing in my feed, and I've heard this one before where I think I've told it to you about the reincarnation stuff
Hmm.
and how they'd say, "Oh, like when you die, and then to go into the light
Right.
is like the trap,
Hmm.
where if you go into the light, you'll get trapped and sent back and be reincarnated and
Right.
forget everything."
Right.
So, that's another one of those things where it's like, how do you
Yeah.
how do you prove this? And that's why I got into the psychedelics.
Hmm.
I was like, the deeper you tap into your mind to understand things, or the further out of your mind into maybe the astral realms, or in my mind, I was like, what are these? What's the astral?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And, and uh,
Well, yeah, like with the religion stuff, and even um even like kind of like propaganda, like government propaganda, like
mhm,
it's so easy for for like Americans to point out that, like, China or Russia is like all their people are just being propagandized, and and they don't even see that it's happening to us too,
mm.
and just like the whole like ultra patriotic movement or whatever you want to call it,
Mhm.
um people don't see that that is a form of propaganda, like the national anthem. That, I mean, I don't care who gets mad, like that is a form of propaganda. Like in any other country, if you see that going on where they're pledging their allegiance to their flag of their country, it's not about being proud of your country and being like grateful for where you were born. It's it's the fact that you're repeating this same thing every single day from the time you're in kindergarten, and then to the point where if people don't do it, people get angry at you.
Well, they don't do it
And
now, right? Or
I'm not sure
some
if they do.
places don't.
I'm not sure, but just, the whole thing with like Colin Kaepernick not standing for the national anthem
Mhm.
or anything like that. It's like, if this is a free country, then that means you have to put up with other people's beliefs and, be around people that you're not going to agree with.
Right. And I guess that's one of the things about America that was like the freedom of religion was like one of the biggest ones, which is probably how all these cults get developed too, where it's like, I don't need any religion. I'll just create a religion. And
And that's fine,
until it turns into mass murders and
Yeah, I mean, for sure, but that's religion too, like
killing
those.
in the name of God.
Yeah, yeah, and like,
Oh,
Inquisition type stuff and holy wars and all that. But I mean, I'm pretty sure, just because the way like the Constitution was written and like the Declaration of Independence and stuff, like they wrote those things in a certain way to where they were like predicting the future and seeing how, it is like a democratic society, but even with that, it's not perfect, and there's going to be like these pitfalls, checks and balances, the whole uh different, sections of the government that are supposed to be checking on each other and keeping each other in check. And it's basically, I'm pretty sure like if they were alive now, they'd be like, you guys have totally fucked it up. This is not what we planned.
It could be, yeah. And maybe it is. Oh, what's up, SpongeBob? Maybe it is predicting the future, and that's another stuff in the rabbit holes I would see is the predictive programming of like, oh, The Simpsons predicted this,
Hmm.
and so people would be like, it's the way of conducting their like magic spells to manifest into the future. But what I was going to say earlier when you're talking about America and like national anthem and these procedures to like honor your country or whoever you serve. So I seen this thing about like tribes in the jungles and whatnot, and
Hmm.
how they would see, these planes drop off like food and water to them.
Yeah,
And
the cargo cults.
yeah, and there was something about how they would maybe see some of these things about how the military would, all dress the same and walk in formation and do their stuff with their guns, and they have their satellite dishes and all these different like technologies. And so it was showing these tribes and them walking with like sticks instead of guns and walking in formations and building these satellite dishes out of like sticks and grass and stuff.
Hmm.
So it's like obviously these things don't work because they're just made out of like nature. But
Yeah.
basically it was talking about how the tribe thought of it as like almost like a ritual
Hmm.
that, they're like, well, if we do this ritual, it'll bring the gods will bring us more food and whatever. So it
Yeah.
was like, I think from their perception, they didn't even understand like what the military was doing or something. I don't know. They just viewed it as a ritual of like, walk like this, do these things.
Hmm.
Um, just it even makes me think about how I don't know if it's like the Muslims or something that they'll walk around that black cube in Mecca
Yeah.
for like 7 days straight or something like that.
Hmm.
And I'm like, man, what?
For sure.
It's amazing, like what belief systems and rituals people have. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, it's everyone has like a different view on things like patriotism or stuff like that. Um I think honestly the most healthiest way to look at it is just be grateful, and that's all you really can be because you didn't do anything to be born here. Um and it's not the best country in the world. Like every country has its fucked up past, and obviously, like it is one of the best countries in the world for sure. There's like 300 countries or something, and we could have been born in any one of these places. So for sure, like we got it pretty damn good as far as just having the ability to have modern luxuries, and have clean water and stuff. So I think that's
Oh,
all
for
good.
sure, dude. Like,
Like be proud and be grateful of the place that you're in, and to me mostly it's the people, like um just like your neighbors and your community and stuff like that. Like that's America, like the government like does not give a fuck about
well,
the about us.
and see, that's the thing is like, part of me is like, they fucking, especially because when it comes into like the human trafficking stuff and all the corruption, where I'm like, yeah, dude, like it's happening probably, especially with the Epstein Island. But I'm also like, what about all the things they do provide us with? Like you
Mhm.
say, water, food. If you're low income and this and that, they'll provide you housing and food stamps and all these other benefits of being an American that I don't know if they have that in other countries,
Yeah, I mean, they for sure have it in other countries. um, it's America is just a weird place because I don't think a lot of people really realize that, if you go to another country, it's not like they have states within that country. It's like they have the country and then they have cities and towns in it. Like there's America
Mhm.
is one of the only that's why it's called the United States. And like other states like around the world is basically the same word for a country. And so you're like Montana might as well be its own country and Idaho is its own country, but then we're overruled by the federal government. And so that's just a weird thing in itself to where um I mean honestly, it like what does the federal government really do for us? Besides like make laws and go to war and shit like but for the most part like around the world it's just that country and then the towns and cities within it.
Right. The money, the the Federal Reserve,
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
and
I mean
just the banking industry and when I was deeper in those rabbit holes, it would come down to those things: the money, the bankers, the corporations, and it went so deep into your birth certificate and a social security number.
mhm,
You know, your straw man, have you right, like the the you that doesn't exist in physical form. It's the you that is your name in a computer system
yeah,
that has a social security number and all your credit and medical and all that stuff,
yeah.
which is an interesting thing to think about. And it just gets into some weird territories again with people that have these theories and ideas of what all that is and what it could be used for, or what maybe that if they were hiding any truth behind your social security, or basically one of the things that I would see these people down the conspiracy rabbit holes. What's up, son? What's up, zombie? All right, later, zombie. See you later, living dead. All right, peace out, homie. But and it goes into that zombie idea where, um, all right, see you later. Go get some sleep, zombie. Uh, Basically, it was stuff like that where they would say like your birth certificate is uh, not really a death certificate, but they would say something like that, where it's uh, like that you are a corporation or something.
Hmm,
It was very confusing that people would go that far into it, where it would all have to do with like this maritime law of court systems and like just what it means to be born into a place. And then like you're born, you're given a social security number, birth certificate, all this stuff. You're entered into the system, but it's like you're a baby.
right.
Like you don't know that stuff. What about the babies that are born that aren't registered?
Mhm,
Like
yeah.
those are probably the ones that get into these human trafficking, like black magic
Yep.
ritualistic places, or I don't even know. Like it's
Mhm,
just it's just weird to think about that. That's a reality too. That there's humans and people born that like they don't have no registration. They're off the
right.
grid.
Well, that's what I was gonna say too, like, if you are if you are born, I mean, you're automatically born into a system that you can't just decide to, like, opt out of. If you wanted to be off grid, you still have to kind of like you're still reporting to the government in some weird way.
You can't just go out in the mountains. I mean, you can. Like, I'm going off the grid. I'm gonna live in the mountains and live off of fish and deer and oats and berries.
Hmm.
But you're still gonna be, somebody owns that property.
Right.
You know, it's just even if it's probably out in the wilderness. I don't know. There's got to be public land, but I'm like,
Hmm.
public? Who owns the public land? The state? The
No, we do, man. I'm pretty sure, like, public land means that the taxpayers own it. Um, which, like, kind of going back to like the states and the federal government, and like that definitely is one benefit of having like a federal government, is because there are going to be states that, like, they don't produce enough to like sustain the whole population of that state. So, the federal government will subsidize and, give them
mm,
money to be able to do those things, like you said, like food stamps and welfare and all that. But
right.
I mean, that's what they're supposed to do. That's what the government is supposed to do, is take care of its people. And so, I mean, I'm not like, I'm not totally against a federal government. And kind of going back to like the founding fathers thing too, is I didn't mean they were like predicting the future, but they were just setting up a government. And back in that time, they were coming from a different government that was, it was a monarchy, and they were trying to get out of that, and they're trying to set something else up that was, democratic and, for the people and by the people. And but they knew it wasn't perfect, and they knew if it wasn't kept in check, that it could turn just back into the thing that they left from. And then so I'm, that's, I think I think the people should always question the government, and like hold them accountable. And I think a lot of people think that America is just full of a bunch of pussies because we just kind of let everything slide. Like no matter what.
Well, some of the people are definitely pussies.
Yeah, but I just mean
uh,
as a whole, like, because in other countries, like what's going on in Iran right now, there's like huge protests going on, and they're like shutting down the internet, and it's crazy over there right
so
now.
that's what I would hear about. Like the September 24th thing was electromagnetic field stuff. Like they were saying, like, oh, the sun is gonna explode, or
Yeah.
something out there is gonna affect the electromagnetic field, and just stuff like that. Probably like the internet, and that's the thing is like when the Wi-Fi goes down,
Yeah.
or when I've had to live at times where it's like a root from the tree or a bush grows into the plumbing,
Hmm.
and your plumbing is fucked for a day, or I've had it happen for a whole weekend
Yep.
where it's like you can't use the toilet,
Yeah.
and uh I think even just other stuff like that, like no running water.
Dude, yeah, there's documentaries out there where, I mean, even with what happened in Texas when they had that freeze. And there's this one documentary I watched about in New York City when the power went off for like 7 days,
Mm.
and it was just chaos, dude. Like, and that's kind of what I was saying about, like, the people just letting shit slide. It's only because we're comfortable. Like as soon as something like that would happen, like dude, if the Wi-Fi went off, the internet was shut down for like a week, people would go nuts, dude. And or anything like that, like the power grid.
Well, when
um
COVID hit,
yeah.
I mean, that was probably the closest I'd ever felt to any sort of like apocalyptic, you
Dude,
know.
I remember like the scaredest I got during the pandemic. It was right when lockdowns first started, and I was on Facebook and um I was watching this live of, and it was in some other country, some like Spanish speaking country, where they were just looting the stores, and I was like, dude, this is crazy. Like, um, and then I think I was just scrolling through lives, and I came across another one where it was something in the sky, and it just looked like this weird kind of like iridescent, like rainbow looking thing, and I'm just like, what is this? And there was an earthquake in my apartment. It
Oh,
was the only earthquake I've ever felt. Um, but I was like, oh, this is it. Like fucking people are looting and robbing, and there's some like aliens in the sky or something. And then there was an earthquake, like, and it was only for like a second, but my apartment shook a little bit, and I was like, dude, what is happening?
dude, I remember some stuff like that where I would see these things like, oh, this is happening in China or Australia or other areas. I'm like, oh wow, that's probably not going to happen here. And then like the next day, oh, everything's shutting down.
Hmm.
It's like, wait, what? Like, can't go to the grocery store
Yeah.
or whatever. And when you're saying that stuff, it also reminded me of when I would take massive doses of psychedelics and have these like I don't even know, like almost like vision type things, or I don't know if you could call them hallucinations or just some sort of experience where it would feel like the world just ended, or breaking through the simulation or computer system matrix of life, and being
Yep.
like, I would have these experiences like where I was like, boom, whoa, uh, I was just like abducted by aliens, and then
Hmm.
something happened, and then poof, I was like shot back in like an instant, and I
Yeah.
forgot. And it was like within a moment, I would like know like all this crazy stuff, like the universe and the truth of our reality
Yep.
and the whole human experience or what a soul is, and then like shoot back and then be like, "Oh, wait, what?"
I've
I
had those.
it like all that information is just like boom, and it's just like, what's on TV?
Yeah,
And you just go back to like, I need a snack and to
for
take a
sure.
piss.
Yeah.
It's just weird. I don't even know how to explain it, but
I've only had that experience once, and it was on a massive shroom trip. And
mhm.
I think I've told you about it. I don't know if I've told it on the podcast before, but yeah, dude, I was I was just sharing this bag of mushrooms with the homie, and we basically split it. I'm pretty sure it was like, um I don't it wasn't a whole ounce, but it was, right,
Jeez.
we at least ate a quarter each. And
Damn.
dude, it was such a weird trip, man. Like, because there was just some talk about like police and stuff, and he was trying to like post this picture because he put the last of the mushrooms on this little Reese's cup,
Mhm.
and he took a picture of it, and he was trying to post it on Facebook, and then the internet wasn't working or something, and I'm like, oh shit, dude, like they're trying to stop us, man. Like this shit's too powerful. And
I know that
um
feeling, yeah.
yeah, dude. And so we ate the very last of it. It was just this one little cap, and so we split that or whatever. And it just blew my mind, dude. I'm like, I was like trying to play one of my songs for him because he really wanted to hear this song, and I just had my phone, and I'm like I wasn't even pressing the button or like looking it up or anything. I just thought that like I could just touch my phone and it would just appear and play. And but part of me was like, if I play this song, then it's gonna like uh I don't know what my rationale was, but I was like, we're all gonna get stuck inside this song for eternity. And like it was gonna like open up a portal and like everybody on earth was gonna get sucked in it and we were just gonna be trapped in this song forever.
That's a
And
cool
so I was like,
idea for like a short film or short story.
yeah, dude. And I was like, dude, I can't play this, man. And um, but then it just like my mind just fucking got ripped open. And I'm like what I felt like was like everybody on earth just kind of woke up at once and we were all kind of like telepathically connected. And I said to him, I'm like, dude, like, did we just wake up the world? And like, I really felt like that, dude. It was like, no, it wasn't a joke, you know? I'm like, fuck, dude, this isn't good. Like, I felt like World War III was starting, you know, and like the whole government was going to come down on us because we just woke up the world, you know, and everyone was like, you know, like singularity type thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked him that and he was like, yeah, dude. And so I was like, fuck, man. And but it was kind of the same thing. It was just a bunch of it was a lot of that where I was like, man, um, you know, like everything I want to do in life and stuff, like I'm like already there. Like there's no like getting there, like it's already happened, you know, like I'm already like there's no trying, like it just already is. And but it was freaky, man. Like I thought you were on your way over. I'm like, Jake's coming over, man. Like he knows, man. And
Well,
it,
it is really weird how it's weird what our minds will do that are like not really happening,
right.
but in other ways, like it is really happening. Like you're saying, like the telepathic connections between people, and I don't know, like it would make me think of like these ideas of our perception of
Yeah.
reality, like when you kind of like that man character syndrome
Mm-hmm.
where I would have these feelings of like, okay, I have this going on inside of me, like some crazy awakening. And I'd have those same experiences, like where it's like, oh, dude, I just kind of woke up to these like a spiritual awakening type thing, or I don't even know what. And you would feel like sometimes, like, why doesn't everybody else know this?
Yeah.
And that is what also creates this. I don't know if it's like a savior complex, messiah complex, or like a guru woke complex where I was thinking this today where I would see you'll see a lot of TikTokers or whatever kind of recreating like they see a video about somebody that's like, did you ever see in this Disney movie this hidden truth? Isn't this
Yeah.
weird? And it has to do with the government and the pedophiles or something. And it's like, wait, what? And
Right.
then somebody else is over here saying it, and then they might take it to another level. And
Mhm.
then somebody that watches that is like, yes, this is true. I need to tell my following.
Right.
And then somebody in their following is like, I need to tell everybody. I need to wake up the world. You know.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
felt that.
like, I think it is good to recognize that, like, when you're on um psychedelics, whether it's like just a normal dose or like a really big dose, that what is going on like is in your mind, you know. But that I don't know if that makes it any less real, you know, just like you're saying, like it's just like a matter of perception, you know, like even without taking drugs, like things can affect your perception, you know, like if you're depressed or if you're in love, you're going to experience reality in a like vastly different way, you know.
Hmm.
And is one more real than the other? I mean, I don't know. And even with different types of drugs like like psychedelics, they will open your mind to a different wavelength of reality. But then there's other drugs that will do that, but like in a negative way, like Datura and like really, really crazy drugs that pretty much consistently will make you have like a terrible trip and just see like the worst shit. And so, but even just being like a normal, like neurotypical sober person, I mean, you're only experiencing reality. Just, are you hearing something?
Yeah, I think it's my son messing around in his bed. Or else the Matrix is collapsing and the aliens are here to pick me up
Right.
because we're too much information, bro. Too much,
Yeah.
too much truth.
Yeah. I think it's easy for people to discount and be like, oh, you're just messing with your brain, and it's just a chemical reaction in your brain. But
Hmm.
that's all reality is anyways, like, um, I mean, the way we experience it is it's literally just a chemical. I mean, it's basically a hallucination inside of your brain, whether or not what is out there is real or not, still the what you're experiencing is like a yeah, it's just a chemical reaction in your brain, like your eyes take in light, and then it has all these different processes to let you experience it and see something.
So I totally agree with that. And it makes me think of today in group. Basically, the topic was gratitude and what you're grateful for. Because, of course, basically, what we usually talk about is, you know, maybe our problems, but more like the solutions to our problems or different ways to look at it. Because basically, alcohol, you've probably heard this, like the philosophy behind it is like alcohol isn't the problem, it's the solution. Like I'm the problem and the alcohol was my solution and I just kept using it.
Yeah.
So, I've noticed like now that I'm not, in this deep hole of alcoholism and addiction, which fed into my depression and anxiety even more, especially down these rabbit holes where you'd be like, oh, the darkness in the people that rule the world, you know. It's
Hmm.
scary. And like you say, it could be propaganda. It could be putting the fear in you to keep you in fear. But like you say, now I look at the sky more. I've noticed that. And when I was deep, when I'd withdraw and isolate because of alcohol abuse, substance abuse, I didn't even want to see the sunlight. I didn't even want to go outside.
Yeah.
And it's so strange, or how everything could look more just gray and mundane and be like, I'm not like when I'd go fill out the questionnaire at the doctor of like, have you lost interest in everything? And it's like, I don't even like looking at my stuff I have. I just feel like it sucks. I'm not even worthy of my guitar over there, like,
Hmm.
and then once I started to sober up, my brain chemistry started to come back. My perception totally started changing.
Yeah. I think that it's super important, man. Like I I don't know. I think I talked about this a little bit before, but um, since I started this podcast, I've been kind of going through some changes and just a lot of like self-reflection and stuff. And it's been it's been kind of weird, man, because um like I haven't really done anything really creative since I started working at this job again.
Mhm.
And so I feel like it's good for me to do something creative, and have something outside of work that I'm working towards. But it's been affecting my job a little bit, and I don't think it's anything like health wise or physical or anything, but I've just been so fucking tired at work. Like I actually took the last 3 days of this week off of work just so I could rest and rejuvenate,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of figure out like what like why my attitude has changed too. And I think that is the biggest part of it, is that I'm starting to feel like now that I'm trying to find time outside of work to do this creative thing, that the time that I'm spending at work and the time and energy that I'm, day to day at work, um, it's starting to feel like, oh, like this isn't worth it. What am I doing here? Like I'm meant to be doing this other thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I definitely needed the time to just to sit and think and just kind of look at the bigger picture and see like why I'm doing that, and because I am doing it so, obviously I can pay bills and stuff, but there's other benefits of it, and just the skills I'm gaining and all that. And the money I'm saving up, and there's plenty of benefits. um but yeah, dude, just the fact that I started trying to do this other thing, and then what I've been doing for the past 8 months is totally fine, and like of course I'd be tired and stuff, but for the most part, throughout the whole day I'd be fine, and I would just put my head down and grind and not really be so exhausted while I'm at work. And then since I started doing this podcast, I was just so fucking tired at work, like physically tired and like no motivation. And so yeah, I think it's just your attitude can change like your reality so much. And like I want to work. Like I obviously have to be there. I have to show up for work. So um but I'm like, man, why am I so tired? Like I want to have more energy. I don't want to feel like this. Like I'm choosing to be here. So like why do I feel like this? And um
Well, you
so
do
yeah,
burn
man.
out sometimes. Like if you work too much, you will burn out.
Yep.
And any like not like you're looking for advice or anything, but I can tell you about my experiences with stuff like that because I've left so many jobs, and sometimes I would leave them like on a whim, like I would snap, and
Yeah.
I would just like somebody pissed me off. I'm like, fuck this, I'm out. I'm
Yep.
meant to be a rock star. I should be at
Mhm.
home in the studio, get my music out there, get my graphic design work, doing more of that, working on my videos and all that stuff, feeding into my Soulfire business or whatever. And you've been around at times when I'd quit construction, and I've done that like twice at least,
Yep.
yeah. And I kind of regretted it at times. I would take these chances to go out and be like, I'm gonna, you know, put all my energy into my passion, my dream,
Mhm.
and thinking that also that if I just put more into it, it'll build up and break, have a lucky break or whatever. And sure, there'd be little hot spots, but it never amounted to what I had going on. And I think if I would have just, kind of trucked through it and maybe just had a little bit more, like you say, a better attitude. And that's what the therapy and even medication has helped me with nowadays, getting off the alcohol. Um, I used to be like we were talking last time with like, hey, it's okay to have a day job, or like I go do this and then come home at night. Cause usually my life now is like I go to work like 8 to 5, wake up at like 6:30 or whatever, do my morning ritual, go to work, come home, clean up, hang out with the kids for a few hours, put them to bed, and then have like a few hours I can dedicate to the studio
Yeah.
and still being like, one day, hopefully these things start to take over where I can have more time and money, even the podcast. Um, but even recently, I've been thinking about doing more some college,
Hmm.
some online college or something, because one day, I've had the ideas about a community center, but I'm also thinking of stuff with like land, almost like farmland
Right.
or like solar energy and crops and stuff like that. And I'm just getting a little more open to the idea of more work and that it's okay to do these things. But again, balancing it so you don't
Yeah.
burn out,
Hmm.
like, because you will burn out.
Yeah. I mean, I think that that is what was happening with me because um it's not all just your attitude. Like you can't just you need rest, and you only have so much energy any given day, and um I think it basically just depends on what your day job is and what you're trying to do outside of work that might be, your own thing. And so for me, like I said, when I was working these 8 months basically until I started trying to be creative again, that was basically all my energy, and then now that I'm trying to do this other thing, it's whether it's mental energy, it's not a lot of physical energy to do a podcast, but um so it's a mix of that for sure. And um yeah, man, like I when I was just kind of feeling that like on Tuesday, I was talking to my boss about it and I'm like, I'm feeling burnt out, man. I don't know what's going on, but I'm just tired. Like I want to work, but um and he's telling me like, oh, maybe you should just have a long weekend, take Friday and then the following Monday off. And I was like, yeah, I'll think about it, man. I just woke up the next day and I'm like, I can't, like I just have to take the next few days off, and so I put in for those Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday off. And when I came into work that next morning, I was just pissed, man. Like I was mainly like mad at myself and I'm like, why am I like dragging behind, like I know I can do better than this. And so I was just like, I don't know, sometimes I like being a little bit mad because I'm like not like angry, but just like a little more mad and a little more focused because there is a type of focus you get when you're angry, not angry, but just like a little bit fired up,
Mm-hmm.
And so when I came into work that next day, I was just pissed kinda, and I just got right to work, and it felt like I had a shit ton of energy, like I wasn't like there was some sort of fire burning in me, and my boss noticed it too. He's like, "Are you all right?" Like, and I'm like, "Yeah, man, I'm just getting right to work." And but later in that day, he pulled me aside and was talking to me and stuff, and I didn't I didn't necessarily tell him that um I have this creative thing that I'm trying to do outside of work. And eventually, like it's not my goal to make this construction job my career.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's something I've kind of just been holding inside. And, I don't think that's necessarily good. But so yeah, there's only so much you can like really will yourself through. And like luckily he's like a super like understanding guy, and he even brought up the idea that maybe we'll go 8-hour days instead of 10-hour days because it's a lot, man. Like I'd get up at 4, just so I could have a little bit of time before work to have breakfast and stuff. And we start work at 6, and then I basically get home at like 5. So that's like 11 hours out of my day basically. And so it's not really an option to like do anything after work because I just like I really need my rest if it's gonna be something I plan on doing for a while, you know.
Yeah, it's I mean, any suggestions I would have since I've been in similar situations would be like, building your brand to the side, while you're building it, while you're still working your other job that's maintaining your bills and all that stuff, to be building your brand like Dummy Head or whatever. Like before you had Forever going. Like I love that shirt you're wearing.
Mhm. Yep.
Um, yeah, it's super dope. Um, and I guess for me, I'm still working on the whole target demographic, target market, and discovering and getting comfortable with like who am I really going to be able to connect that will support the brand, that will understand it. And then even when it comes to like I'll think about the podcasting stuff or like get my YouTube popping. Because I'll think
Yep.
about my kids and I'm like, well, I want to build these businesses my own. Like, sure, the drywall business, I could do that forever. My kid could learn how to do drywall with me in the future. Or I want to be able to make enough royalties from music and artwork. But then I'm also like, I want to get a farm going one day. So it could be like, yo, we got our hay business or, these things we maintain on our land
Yeah.
while you have we have our YouTube channel and a gaming channel where it's like, yo, we do these other things to make money and have those brands that everything's branded under. But I still am trying to figure out all those things of like getting enough viewers and retention time and subscribers to get ad revenue, to
Mhm.
get sponsors. I don't know what sponsors pay for like, hey, I need you to shout out this ad once a video and you got to be releasing this many videos a week and or whatever. I don't know. But those are some goals I have. I need to actually write them down.
Yeah.
And even that stuff, when I was thinking, I was like, man, I wish I could go to college for some of this stuff, maybe, like,
Well, the information is out there, man. Like I don't think that's anything you have to go to school for. Like Mr. Beast, he talks about it all. Like he basically lays it all out, everything he's done to get where he's at. Um, like with this podcast, I don't think it's anything to do with like the quality of the content of like the things that we're talking about and the conversations. I think that's just as good as anything. I think it's just the way it's packaged and delivered. And um, I think once that's there, I mean, same with mine. Like I'm kind of in the building process of where I'm still kind of figuring out what it's supposed to be, you know?
well, it does look good, sounds good, and like with the edits you'll do, which like I understand when you're like, man, I'm putting this time into my podcast. Because sure, it doesn't take a whole lot of energy to sit at a microphone and talk for an hour.
Hmm.
But then if you have to go through and edit it, then you have to
Yeah.
upload it and let it all render and come up with the graphics, the video animations. Hey,
Hmm.
Link, what's up there, buddy? Um, all right, I'll come hang out in a little bit. And then, like you say, the packaging and the marketing.
Yeah.
It's the product, and then you, like you say, getting the details of the way the product looks and functions, then packaging it and getting it to the people properly. Like
Yeah.
that's a whole nother beast.
For
But
sure.
that's what Mr. Beast and I like to listen to him. I love it actually, and I'm just trying to like, I'll see all these people on TikTok be like, "Here's how to do something in less than 27 seconds, and start yourself a drop shipping company or successful YouTube channel." And I'm
Mhm.
like, I don't even know if you really have a successful one. You could just be regurgitating and taking screenshots and pulls from some other random shit. I don't even know.
Yeah.
But it's easy to say, but it's harder to do. Easier said than done.
Yeah, I came across this, um, channel, Ludwig, and he's basically just like a commentary type dude, and he'll talk about, like internet drama and just whatever, he's, I think he was a Twitch streamer, and he'd do like gaming commentary or, what's it called? Commentator, like you'd kind of like what Joe Rogan does for the UFC, he'd do that for like gaming tournaments and stuff.
Mhm.
Anyways, though, he did this video where he started a brand new channel, and he was trying to see if like he could get it to blow up just with the knowledge that he has as like already being like an established YouTuber. And so he made this video, and it's just kind of one of those like video essay documentary, and I can't remember what it was on exactly, but he just made the channel, and he wrote the script for the video, and then got like the stock footage, hired a narrator off of Fiverr or whatever, and he got the video all together. Maybe he hired an editor too, and then he published the video, and then sent a link to like the streamer that it was about. Oh, because the title was something like how this streamer got famous from a door. And the story was basically the streamer, he had this room that he'd stream out of, but then there's this door in the background. And it was kind of like on Seinfeld, where they have those entrances, people just pop in the door.
Mhm.
And so it'd be like that. Like he'd have like friends and other streamers and stuff, and they would just walk in the door. And that was kind of like one unique thing about his stream. And so he made this whole video about it. And while that dude was streaming, he made a donation, because if you make like a big donation, then they'll read it on stream. And so he made a
Mhm.
donation, put the link of that video in there, and the streamer watched it and like actually liked it, and then it just blew up. And so
Well, yeah, having those smart little tactics of like how do I get it out there properly? Where do you share the link?
yeah.
Because all these different platforms and all these different things where it's like, yeah, you can share a link on Facebook and it could just Facebook might not feed it into an algorithm. They don't want you to leave
Hmm.
Facebook
Yeah.
or I don't know, Reddit, all these other different like places all over the internet. You could post a link
Hmm.
and sometimes you get lucky, sometimes it's strategy. And take this for example. So I get this email the other day, and it's from like I don't know if you'd say it's a record label really out of Nashville
Right.
or some sort of like a network marketing company. I don't know, but they're like, hey, somebody showed me your music, blah blah blah, and I'll market stuff. I'll like do Google ads or Facebook ads, and I basically do like Montana areas,
Right.
Los Angeles, Hollywood, and Nashville.
Hmm.
Because in my mind, I'm like, well, if there is going to be any sort of label or representation, it's probably going to be from one of those two areas that I would be even interested in. And then targeting Montana, because I'm like, this is my home. These are the people I'm going to try to connect with.
Yep.
And so I get this message, and it's like from an A&R guy. And I've gotten messages from A&R people from different companies and stuff. And they're saying, "Hey, we've been established on Music Row, and we've done this and that for these like famous people, and we have songwriters and this team of people. I'll send you a PDF that has this list of our team, And if you're interested in hearing more, like, let me know. And I'm like, sure, yeah, I'm interested. Like, you can call me up sometime.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I'm like, dude, I'm not like some newbie that's like, yes, this is my big break. I've already had those thoughts like 10, 15 years ago. I've had so many little things that are like, this is it, my big break, you know?
Yeah.
And it'd be like a scam or something that's just like, I don't even know. But I started looking into it and, I'll watch some of the other videos of artists that are on their roster or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, with all due respect to this company and all their other artists, I wasn't too impressed with the numbers of subscribers to their channels, views on the videos, sometimes even the quality of the video. The songs sounded great, great production quality.
Yeah.
Sometimes the cameras looked great, but I was like, sometimes the editing, I was like, ugh, it's just not totally profesh. The thumbnails, the amount of likes and comments, so in my mind, I'm like, eventually, I'm like, what are you gonna do for me? Are you wanting me to pay you for you to market me?
Right.
Because from what I can see from these other people on your roster, it doesn't look like anything major. Like I could just market myself like I've been doing, put 100, $200 a month into Google ads, target market, and build up your own thing or send links out, find the right people to connect on the internet. You don't necessarily need some marketing company in Nashville or whatever. I
Yeah.
don't know. So I was just putting that out there because, that's kind of what we're talking about, marketing your product. And that's, of course, what they are saying they try to do. And what one of the things in the email said was, we put our reputation on the line with our connections and this and that. And we expect our artists to work as hard as we do. This is tough business. And in my mind, I'm like, fuck, I'm over here working pretty damn hard for myself. I don't know.
For sure.
I don't see you putting a lot into these other artists. Wouldn't you have a marketing
Yeah.
budget that you're pushing their videos out?
Right.
I don't know.
So on this Colin and Samir, one of their podcasts, they were talking about for podcasts, some of the best places to share it is TikTok and LinkedIn.
Mhm.
And so I haven't done those yet. I made a TikTok for the Dummy Head podcast, but I haven't shared anything on it yet, and I haven't done anything with LinkedIn. But you're totally right with like the like Facebook and Reddit, because there are subreddits that are like dedicated to like new YouTube channels and small YouTubers and stuff. But you get a thread where it's like, okay, it's like a feedback thread or like post your most recent video. And it's just the same thing, it's just like 200 comments of people sharing their thing. And so it's like, why would somebody go in there and
Click on
and
that video.
yeah. And so I think that's the main thing, is like, how do you, like, what is it about what you're making that's going to make people click on it, or what about it stands out from all the other people? Because no matter what you're doing, there's going to be someone out there doing it better, or they've been around for longer or something,
Mhm.
and sometimes that's what it does take, is just like I was saying with the Ludwig, where he posted it in that Twitch stream, where you you see it kind of gaining traction, and that makes you want to click on it more. Like if you come across a podcast with 0 views, you're gonna be like, why would I look at that?
Right.
um so it's, I don't know, man. I think the TikTok is a good one, because the way that algorithm works is I think it's a lot different than any of these other like social websites because it is basically just the stuff that you're into. You know, it does have a more organic feed to it where it will show you stuff um that just it's not based on anything like, oh, it's starting to get engagement, so let's push it into people's feeds. Like, I mean, the one of the first TikToks I ever posted got like it's like over 1,000 views, and imagine how hard that is on Facebook. Just to be a brand new account and you post a video and it gets 1,000 views, you'd be like, holy shit. But on TikTok, like they feed that stuff into people's algorithms that are already like tapped into that type of stuff.
And there is a few different ways of going about things I've realized with them, where there's like the simple everyday person, no editing, like shots from a like your phone,
Yeah.
and that will get great things. You could just put a picture of you saying, today I'm 456 days sober, and you know, my life has changed. And you could get for 10,000 views or something and 2,000 hearts on it and a bunch of comments that are like, "Hey man, great job," or I'm in recovery too. Or, you can make a really complex a bunch of edits, a bunch
Hmm.
of cuts, bunch of, using certain sounds, certain hashtags. I don't know. There's all these weird little things. And like, so I'll make like different, and I've probably told you this before, where we'll make like elaborate videos, whether it's my music stuff or just some family stuff. Like, oh, we're gonna open some toys up and play with toys, or film a video of us going on an adventure. And I like to do this stuff just for like, I'm like, dude, this memories for me,
Yeah.
anyways. But it all, ties into our branding, and it is like one of my son's dreams. And it's always been a dream of mine to be like, yo, successful YouTuber. YouTube is a success for me. It's not just like, make some, it floats into nowhere land.
Hmm.
But sometimes I'd take like a simple video of, line up some dominoes and a cool thing, and brrr, the dominoes go around, or, my son sliding down a slide, or me throwing my frisbee for my dog. And
Hmm.
those would do so good. Like, so many people would like it, and it would be fed more, people would watch it more often. And it's like, man, it's interesting how the simple real life stuff
Yeah.
is so relatable to people, or they enjoy watching it. I don't know, but it,
Hmm.
it all helps me get a kind of a better understanding of not just the computers, but the psychology of humans.
Right.
But
For sure. Yeah. That's, I mean, that's the whole um, it's like the whole basis of marketing is figuring out people's psychology.
mhm,
And just the fact that trends on the internet come and go. Like, people did like daily vlogging for the longest time. And I was just it's I think it's important to not even really like follow trends at all, really, because I was just watching something that was saying like, oh, vlogging is dead, like vlogging is going out. And then you see stuff that's like, um, there's this Ryan Trahan, and I think he's doing it really smart because he's kind of doing the opposite of Mr. Beast. He just did this series. It was like a 30-day series where he would vlog every day, and it was like a challenge video too. Like he was like, I'm gonna travel across the country with a penny, and I'm gonna deliver this penny to Mr. Beast. And he was vlogging every day about it. And he would start off with just one penny, and he'd have to turn that into money to travel across the country. And he did it. And I think it was something like, he was accepting donations too. And if someone donated, it was like 5,000 or 10,000 or something, then he'd have to restart back at 1 penny, And so people will look like, or they'll look at people like Mr. Beast and be like, oh, that's what's working. So that's what I got to do. But, and then you see someone doing something totally opposite where he's like, I'm not putting any money into these videos. In fact, I'm going to start out with just a penny, and I'm going to vlog the whole thing. And people will be telling you like, oh, you can't do like episodic vlogs because people watch the first one and then the viewership will fall off by the end of the month. um but that whole series was super successful. Like each video, like throughout the whole month, has like 6 million views. And he finally got to Mr. Beast and delivered him this penny. um but I think one of the biggest differences is that he's like a likable person, and he's kind of just real on camera, and he's not doing the whole Mr. Beast thing. What's up, guys? Today we're gonna fucking blow up a mansion, or
Oh, right, yeah.
And so like he's like an actual person, and so I think those kind of personality driven things are there's definitely an audience for it.
Yeah, and again, it comes down to that whole branding thing where it's like, well, one thing that might work for this person and their brand isn't going to work with you and your brand because that's what
Yeah.
they represent and what you represent may be different. And so I'll have these thoughts where, like, I used to make a lot of videos with my kids, make fun family videos of, hey, we're going to draw or make things out of clay or whatever it may be.
Right.
And now that I'm working construction so much, I don't have as much time. Like, I'll come home, maybe film a little toy video, play for a little bit. Um, but I used to do some like really cool, more elaborate ones. And I'm like, well, I want to do stuff like that, but like really, where I'm like, if I had one a week that I'm like, hey, we're going to plan for, making this fun video of, like you've even said in the past, like, oh, the thumbnail of like, we're going to launch this, you know, thing, like a little rocket into a ball pit with a parachuter guy on it and try to make it go through the hula hoop or whatever,
Yeah.
but like come up with this fun plan. And what's kind of nice about even making these videos like with my family and stuff too, or even how we've talked about going on adventures and doing documentary stuff is I might not be doing it if I wasn't making a video.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, but and I love to just document things from memories anyways, where it's like, yeah, I want to be able to look back on these and
Yeah,
like that's what we did. We had fun. Like we can watch it again. Like we
for
took a
sure.
T-Rex suit and, went and did a backflip on the trampoline. I don't know,
Yeah.
just silly stuff. And it's like you said before, I think if you come up with plans, write them down. I need to I need to do it more where it's like this is my plans or my goals. I'd like to make a video like this. How am I going to make it happen?
Yeah. Yeah, man. I just think, well, I seen this really good video. It was, I think Pinely was the dude's name, and he did this video on the Mr. Beastification of YouTube.
Mhm.
And it's basically about all these different Mr. Beast clones that are doing the exact same thing as he's doing, the same like shouting and the same kind of edits uh and all that, and they're never going to do it as good as Mr. Beast. And even when he started, like I don't think he really had that plan to be like, oh, I'm going to recreate Willy Wonka. Like he just started out doing stuff like he's like, I'm going to cut this table in half with a plastic knife, and he would just make all sorts of different types of videos and stuff. And um I think there's a lot of things that you can learn from people like that, like the biggest YouTubers and stuff. But, unless you're him, or I mean, some of these people are, successful trying to do that type of stuff. But, I think the coolest thing about YouTube is that just anybody can make videos. And
Mm-hmm.
that's like their slogan or whatever, is like broadcast yourself. And so I think with all these different people and like these really, really big YouTubers and even podcasts too, people that are starting out podcasts and they already have this set that looks like something better than what Joe Rogan has or something. It's like this legit, everything's put together, the lighting is perfect, it's got multiple cameras, and the Shure
Decorations.
SM7Bs. Yeah, yeah. And it's and then it turns out to not even be a good podcast. And when you could do the exact same thing like what we're doing, we're just sitting in our houses. And I think just the I mean, I guess it depends on what you're trying to do, but I think people really do connect with that authenticity. And, you know, I
Well,
think if anything, um, that's something anybody can do.
yeah, you're right. Quality is one thing, and so I was telling you earlier, I've been releasing some music or setting it up to release, you know,
Yep.
and some of the things, like one of them is just like an acoustic project. And I've realized I'm like, dude, I'm gonna do this. Like, I'm really just gonna focus on this stuff, like acoustic stuff. Still make music with beats or band or whatever.
Hmm.
But the acoustic stuff is so nice and simple that it's like
Yeah.
I don't have to put a lot of stuff into mixing and mastering, and you can just do something really simple. And so, of course, I'll be recording, and sometimes there'll be like, oh, there's a little bit of fuzz or a little bit of background noise or feedback or this or that. And I'm like, you know what? That's okay. I'm not gonna trip
Hmm.
on it being like supreme. And
For sure.
because I'm like, this project's not even completely about the supreme sound quality. It's about the uh the stories and the songs. And I remember, I don't know if it was Kirk Hammett or somebody, some musician or guitar player out there that was saying like, hey, it's not always the quality of the recording that
Hmm.
makes me listen to something, but the content within it. Like if it's good content within it, the recording, I don't even care. Like punk rock stuff. I'm like, dude, that sounds like
Yeah.
shit, but I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nirvana,
man.
people like, "Ah," his voice is like fucked. It's like he's
Yep.
screaming so much that you can't, sounds like
Yeah.
a little baby crying, you know?
Right.
And it's
Yeah,
like sounds unique.
for sure. Yeah, man, I think that's it. Just like, you know, um, I picked up this book and I think I might have been talking about it before, but I actually went to the bookstore and found it. It's called Steal Like an Artist.
Mhm.
And it's basically just about uh, taking influences from other people, and just like I was saying with like people copying Mr. Beast. Um, I think the only problem with stealing from people is when you're stealing so much just from one source, to where it becomes just so apparent to everybody that you're not even really being yourself. You're just trying to be this other person.
Wait a minute. You
And
mean like Greta Van Fleet and Led Zeppelin? Just kidding.
yeah,
They
I mean,
definitely
yeah,
got enough flack for that. Like, it kind of ruined
yeah,
them. The flack that so many people would get
yeah. And I'm sure a ton of
quoting
people
different
love them,
bands.
but when it's something like that where it's like that's all you're getting is just being compared to this one artist or one other person. um I think the point of that book, I haven't read it yet, but the point of it is basically steal from as many different people as you can, like take the best thing about this person, you know, you just whatever you're interested in, because like you're interested in things for a reason, and you're never going to be able to fully replicate that person's style or anything, but just taking inspirations from all sorts of different places, and like wearing them proudly and stuff, and giving respect to the people that came before you. But um you know at the end of the day, like, just you taking all these different things and put them in your toolbox, and then just expressing them and just being yourself, I think that's the ticket.
Yeah, I agree. And check this out. So I once had somebody that was very critical with me and would like criticize and, also say things like, if you just take my advice, you'd be so much better or something. And but you don't want to take my advice and you wouldn't want to hear it anyways, or you wouldn't listen to me or put it into action. I was like, Shh, hit me, you know?
Yeah.
Um, and they're also asking me like, you'd say things like, I liked your voice like at this time, but this other time it just sounded like nah. And I'll even go back on my voice, and now I'll still be like, I was trying too hard. I need to just, like even recent recordings where I'm like, I was trying too hard. I just need to like chill
Hmm.
out and let it flow. And but and they'd be like, that's not your original voice. That's not your voice. And so like, it's like, well, I've been trying to develop my voice. And they're like, well, what do you mean by that? And I say, well, people that inspired me, like I'd like this about, Jim Morrison, his voice or writing, or Axl Rose or Bob
Hmm.
Dylan or all these different people. And they say, well, then see, like you're not using your original voice. You're like, oh, I want to be kind of like this, kind of like that, da 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 da. I'm like,
Yeah.
I guess, or even with guitar players, where I'm like, I liked Jimi Hendrix's, notes and chords he'd play like this, but I also really love Kirk Hammett's styles, or you
Yeah,
know, Dimebag Darrell or Zach Wild. And it's like, if I could just take little pieces and inspirations from this, and you almost do it unconsciously.
for sure.
It
Yeah,
just like
I
it just
I
inspires me, and it hopefully creates some sort of fucking
amalgamation.
amalgamation. Yeah.
Yeah, see, I totally disagree with that person, because what they're saying is like you have to be 100% original, and that doesn't exist. Like all these people that you're talking about, they did that exact thing. They stole from all of their inspirations and then amalgamated it into one thing. And then when you hear them, it just comes out so like purely that you instantly know it's them, and they have honed in on their style. But the only time, there's a quote in that book where it says the only time someone calls something original is when they can't define the source of their inspiration.
Mm.
Like if you come upon a new author and you're like, oh man, I love this person's writing style, like it's so original, I've never heard anything like it. Well, little do you know, this person is they were inspired by somebody to write like that.
That's what I've really been wanting to do recently. I'm like, man, I really want to write. I've been thinking, I've told you before, like I've done like poetry books
Hmm.
where it's like, yeah, dude, cause I'll obviously have poetry just randomly scribbled in pages and find, 20 pieces of paper, throw them in a book, and people be like, wow, this is shit. Or it's like, oh, wow, this is intriguing.
Right.
But, I want to take it to the level of like, I've spoke with you about short stories, like even the one you were talking about, like this song is going to trap humanity,
Yeah.
and, write 12, like one page of a notebook, like write one
Hmm.
story in that one page.
Yeah.
And then, just do that, keep doing it until you got like a book of short stories, or, you
Hmm.
know, I've thought about even, write some other fictional story, or even just a life story. Like even I've had thoughts about like the recovery stuff
Yeah.
where, because I'm like, well, that's going to be a part of my life story is, how do you, where's the redemption arc? Like I watched Father Stew. Have you heard of that?
No, my cousin was just watching it earlier today, though.
It was a great movie about a
Hmm.
dude from Montana.
Right.
And yeah, a boxer, went to try to become a Hollywood actor, and then eventually became a
Don't.
priest.
Oh, right.
What? I'm
I was
not
gonna
gonna
say don't.
spoil it, but
Okay.
that's
Right.
the whole.
Right.
It's not spoiling it. That's
The synopsis. Yeah.
yeah. But and I was having these thoughts too of like, d- how did this come together? You think this guy ever thought they were gonna make a film about him?
Right.
Like
Hmm.
so. And I had this thought the other day too of like, of course, this is my ego, or I don't know if it's megalomania or whatever, narcissism, main character syndrome. Will there be those times in my life, I have those thoughts of, if they can make a movie about my life one day, if I die and they make a movie about me, I gotta make it a good movie. I gotta make my life.
Yeah.
I mean, 'cause I don't just want to be that guy that's like, yo, I went and grew up and I got a job, and you know, I worked at Sinclair
Right.
for 60 years or
I
whatever.
don't. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like,
Maybe they make a movie about that guy, you
no, no. I
know?
mean, about wanting to, have a movie made about your life, or wanting to live a life that is, like remembered or memorable, or leaves an impact. That's pretty much everybody. I think I think that's uh like other people's voices in your head being like, oh, well, like, who do you think you are that, you should have a movie about you or something. But that's everybody, man. Like, I um I said that I finished reading the subtle art of not giving a fuck, but there's actually a couple chapters left. I just finished reading them today, and that's what he was talking about was, people's kind of fear of death, and basically, everything that everybody does is um basically that is just trying to outlive their physical form in just how they're remembered, and the impact that they made and stuff.
Mhm.
So, I mean,
Well, and that's
there's nothing
like, sorry, I
there's
interrupted.
nothing wrong with that.
Well, it's like, it makes me think of like your feelings at work,
Mhm.
where you're like, I know there's more to my life than this. Like this
Mhm.
isn't my end game. And when I was getting back in the construction, which was a hard blow for my ego,
Right.
because I felt like a failure, you know.
Mhm.
And that's why I didn't go back for so long, is because I was like, ah, I'm throwing in the towel. I failed on my dream. But
Right.
I still have that stuff growing. I'll still get some royalties. People still listen. I still love to make music, videos.
Mhm.
And I've had to remind myself that once upon a time, it was a dream of mine to have a construction business.
Yeah.
Even if I'm just independent guy, I don't have a huge crew and I'm building a community of houses, but I have
Mhm.
to, and that's what kind of today's meeting was about, is those little things to be grateful for that I kind of take advantage of when it becomes normal.
Yeah.
And then that self-sabotage starts to hit me,
Right.
where I'm like,
For
it's
sure.
going too good. Things are going too good. I gotta
Yep.
fuck something up.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're in kind of a unique position because most artists aren't really like out there getting labor jobs, if they're trying to do something like, oh, I'm a painter or something, or a musician or whatever, like, and it's kind of the smart thing to do, really, is just to get any old job that's like just good enough.
A
Y-
barista?
yeah, yeah, and something that's not gonna just take all of your energy and time. So I mean, like what I'm doing, I'm like, um,
You should make a documentary or a podcast just about that,
well, I
like
recorded
working
one.
at BMC,
Yeah, I recorded one earlier today, and I was actually thinking about doing something. I might actually
and
start.
put like the logo or whatever on your thumbnail. And be like, yeah, other guys that
Yeah.
work at there will probably check it. I'm interrupting. Sorry.
Um. Yeah. Well, I talked about it a little bit, just kind of the conundrum I'm in. But I was thinking about doing a whole video just on like, uh, like a day in the life type thing, and that
Do
was
it.
kind of
I'll
where,
watch it.
yeah, that's where I was thinking about
One
starting
view,
it. For sure, dude.
one like and comment from your
Yup.
boy.
I mean, part of it was too is like people ask me what I do, and I'm like, oh, I build walls, and they're like, what? you know, they don't really
My life
understand that
is
what.
Pink Floyd,
Yeah. So it'd be cool for people just even in my family to be like, look, this is what I do.
like
You
Donald
know.
Trump's wall.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
building the wall,
for sure,
and
dude. I
you're
mean,
just another brick in it. No,
I was thinking about like, recording kind of my morning routine, and then like, showing me clock in, and then maybe like strap a GoPro to my head so it could have that first person view of like what the actual work that I'm doing, and um I don't know. Just
yeah, and the phones are so great because
mhm.
I whip out my phone a lot, and I want to do that with you too. Like we could challenge each other to do something like that. Like, yo, let's do a little day in the life vlog things of our life, our simple life of I'm pretty regular. I wake up, go to work, not too
Mhm.
exciting. I come home, work on my passion and dream,
Yeah.
and go to bed, do it again.
Yep. Yeah, actually I want to show you something cuz I was already taking some footage of stuff at work
Mm-hmm.
cuz I've been thinking about this for a minute. So check it. Oh, don't look at my
Password. No,
right.
let me guess. Your password is
So,
password. I'm just kidding.
yep, password 123.
Good evening, James. This is your bank account information.
Yeah. Oh, don't look at my nudes.
Hack your
So, like, yeah, like I actually already started filming stuff. 'Cause, like, this is like when I wake up. It's not the best shot, but I
No,
might
that's
have
a
to
shot,
I might
you
have to
know.
set some shit up. Yeah, and then I'll be like journaling, making my breakfast,
Dude, people
fucking
love this shit. The praying mantis,
yeah.
another one.
No, this was that time. This is when that
Nice.
happened. Yeah,
See,
this is the
seeing
shop.
that is good. I have never even seen that of you. Like, yo, this is where I work.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. So these are like the tables that we build on. This is all our material. Another one of the tables. Got some cool shots of like me opening up the shop in the morning.
I think if we challenge ourselves to do even one weekly vlog,
Yeah. Like my Woody,
nice.
my Wood E.
Nice. Because daily vlogs, like you can get footage every day, but to edit it in one day and then
Oh
get it
yeah.
out the next day, it's like
Well,
then you'll definitely be burnt out.
no, I wasn't I wasn't even thinking about daily vlogs at all. But
I've thought about it. I've thought, oh, if I release something every day, maybe it'll be, you know.
yeah, yeah. I think well what I was going for was more um I mean, because basically every day is the same, throughout the work week. So it wouldn't be.
Well, you could even just have a James the Fountain channel.
Well, that's what I was gonna do. Yeah.
Nice.
Yep. So I was
Well,
thinking
I look
about,
forward to it.
yeah, I was thinking about doing it tomorrow, just getting more of the actual, uh, work day, and some of the people there be like, yo, do you want to be on my YouTube video? And maybe get some cool drone shots too of just
I
the
was
whole
thinking about my drone. I was like, I need to use this thing more.
right.
I bought it. I need to
Hmm.
use it, you know?
Yeah.
What you should also do, you don't have to take my advice. It's something I'd like to see. And I mean, you could do it on your podcast. And I still think it would be good on the podcast. And you've kind of already talked about like the books you read, but part of me thinks like if you had one of you like holding the book in your thumbnail and saying
Hmm.
like almost like a book review or whatever you took from it, because I think you would get a lot of new people
Right.
as well. I'd like to see the videos. I do love listening to you talk about life and like getting sponsored by your old banana peel in your car.
Right.
And because I'm like, dude, I had two of them. And it's funny because I think about that every time I see a banana peel in my truck now.
Yeah.
Because I just be like, my passenger side floor is full of like beef jerky wrappers, banana peels, and energy drink cans.
I think on the one I did today, I was like, this podcast is brought to you by those little paper wrappers they give you for the Costco samples.
Nice.
But yeah.
Yeah. I like the way you do your podcast. You have a good
Oh yeah.
like speaking style and throwing in like nonchalant, funny,
Hmm.
like it's not even really a joke. It is a joke or just a kind of a comment, but it's just
Yeah.
naturally funny. Doesn't seem like you're really like trying to be funny. It's just like, yeah, it's just kind of I'm just talking.
It is cool to just like let loose and just see what pops in your head, you know.
Mhm.
Um I mean, this last one I did was more serious, but I think that's kind of the point of it is like even if it is a serious topic, you don't have to take everything so serious and take yourself so serious, and but yeah, man, I'm stoked to keep doing them. I'm gonna get Drem on. It's supposed to do one tomorrow.
Nice, like virtually.
So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I had my cousin on last week and I totally fucked it up because I think it's some setting on my camera where it only records for a half an hour at a time. So I didn't realize that it stopped
Ah,
recording.
I've had that happen to me.
Yeah, and then the audio, for whatever reason, I recorded it in FL Studio and I went to export it or whatever, and I thought it exported, but I went and looked at it and the file was like 0 megabytes, and I'm like, what the hell happened? So the whole thing just didn't even work out.
I've definitely had stuff like that happen where I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah.
why? It was so
So
good.
yeah, I know.
I
But
gotta
it was
do it all over again."
it was kind of funny because like um just in like social situations, like when we're sitting around at dinner and stuff, I'm like he's like a pretty confident person, and sometimes I'll just be more laid back and stuff. But he was just like super nervous to be on camera. And it's not like we were talking to the camera or anything, but there was just a camera pointed at us, and we're sitting there talking to each other and stuff. But
It's the
um,
recording jinx. Like,
for sure,
I've been playing this song or doing this skateboard trick and I got it on lock. You hit
exactly, yeah.
record and you just mess up every time. You can't do it.
I mean, that's how this was when we first started doing it for me. I was just like overthinking it all, um, and you do kind of have to play it up just a little bit for the camera, because like when we're on the phone, like we'll still have these same conversations, but it's not really the same, because we're just talking and we can just be chill or whatever. Um, but yeah, the you do kind of have to play it your personality up like 5 or 10%.
Yeah, dude. It's I don't know. I think still I'm like, man, the more we keep going, they'll progress. Like I think they're
Hmm.
better now. And I am actually happy that it's kind of like when I first started doing this, it was like boom, I had like all these people, which
Yeah.
I love the podcast I've done with other people, but it was like kind of stressful and nerve wracking. Gave me anxiety. Be like, talk to people I
Mhm.
don't even know these people,
Yeah.
and I like getting other artists out there and just chopping it up about life and what their art is. But there's a lot more I want to do, and eventually I just want to kind of delve more into this, and I would like to get more into guests again in the future, but
Mhm.
on a different wavelength.
For
Like,
sure.
not necessarily just about, like, "Oh, we got a new album coming out. Get
Right.
on the podcast." It'd be like, "Let's just talk about,
Mhm.
like, life and something interesting," or, I
Yeah.
don't know exactly, but I'm looking forward to where this is going. I'm stoked you got the Dummy Head podcast.
Hell yeah.
Um, I mean, I'll probably let you go here since I had a good chat. I
For
know
sure.
you got another podcast to edit. You got a new book to read.
Yeah, I
You got
actually
some
picked up another
rest
one
to
too.
get.
Yep, yep.
You got another one? What is it?
That how to what is it?
How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days? No.
Yeah. How to wipe your own ass if you're over 30.
I'm still working on that. I got a bidet, so
Yeah.
and you still
Kind of
gotta wipe your ass, though.
no, it's how to win friends and influence people. It's that.
I've
It's just
heard of it.
another one of those that are like mentioned a lot in the, self-improvement circles and all that.
Well, it is good to have any sort of like taking all that information in and doing with it what you will. Like I'm reading the AA book now,
Mhm.
and it's interesting.
Right.
Just it's about like stories, like some about people. I don't know. I'm into like chapter one,
Yep.
but I don't read a lot. And most of the books I do read are either like self-help or biographical autobiographies.
Mhm.
I don't really read a lot of nonfiction, or I mean
Right.
fiction.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, but I mainly read like I spy books
Yep.
and stuff like that, where it's like a lot of pictures and
Mhm. Yeah. That's some good
yeah,
shit.
yeah, man. I read like books with my kids. I'll read about Cuphead or Berenstein Bears.
Still reading, man.
I'm still working on big words.
Yeah. For sure. They're hard.
Yeah, dude. But yeah, it's good to keep reading, man. Doing the old fashioned reading. I'm
Mhm.
I'm glad to hear you go to the bookstore.
Dude, yeah. I've been meaning to go there for a while and I'm like, because it's right on Main Street and the parking is like kind of crazy. So kind of had to park a couple blocks away, but I was on a mission to get this book. Let me read a quote out of it. Just to end it on a powerful note.
Nice.
It's kind of an unconventional book. It's like just full of a bunch of random stuff. Let's see. This is where the dude put the bookmark when he gave me the book, so I'll just read this one.
Hmm.
It's Kobe Bryant. He's saying, I've stolen all of these moves from all these great players. I just try to do them proud. The guys who came before, because I learned so much from them. It's all in the name of the game. It's a lot bigger than me. Kobe Bryant.
Mm, nice. Yeah,
Steal like an artist.
nice. I was just talking about playing basketball earlier today, and Kobe.
Kobe.
Yeah, bro. I should never quit. I could have gone pro.
Right?
I still like to shoot hoops though. It's fun.
For sure. Yeah, dude.
Well, brother, I'm gonna set sail
All right.
across the sea of the inner mind, deep in the subconscious ocean of resentment. No.
Yep.
I'll be here
Good
just
luck.
dwelling on all the things I could have done with my life. No.
Yep. I'll be praying for you.
Thank you so much. I'm gonna need a lot of prayer.
Yeah. Yep. Well,
Get that praying mantis. You
yeah.
guys, you and him, just sit and do some prayers.
Dude, okay, so one last thing. The other day at work, this kid has this board and he's like putting it up to my face and he's like, yo, check this out. There was a praying mantis on it, but it was brown. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome, man. Like I've seen a few of these, but they all been green. Like I think it's
Hmm.
they're changing colors because it's fall. And
Hmm.
he fucking walks back to his table and he picks up the board and just fucking smashes that praying mantis. And I'm like, dude, why did you do that? And he's like, oh, fuck those things. I'm like, man, I would have just taken it outside. Like, what the hell?
Right, dude? Yeah, I've been killing
Damn
flies though.
kids.
Dude,
That's
flies, I
different.
hate them. I was recording some music,
Those things carry disease and shit.
and I'm like, fly keeps flying on my fucking forehead, on my arm. I'm trying to record. I'm like, I gotta start over. I can't
A,
kill
re-
this thing. Every time
a,
I
a
swatted
real
myself
Buddhist
in the
would
face.
just go with it, man.
I eventually I just had to because
Yeah.
I was like, I give up, I give in,
Yeah.
I'll just surrender to the
The
nature
murder.
of yes, I'm here murdering flies like
Yeah.
a sadistic
You're gonna get
serial
canceled.
killer. I might watch that Jeffrey Dahmer show here soon. Oh, you have Netflix?
Yeah. Is
Yeah,
it
I
a
don't
new
know.
one?
Yeah, but Halloween's coming, so I might watch a few more spook
Mm-hmm.
shows and serial killer
Yeah, man.
flicks.
Spooky season.
Then I usually have to turn on some Care Bears before I go to bed. I'm like, dude, I gotta like,
Not me, dude. I'll just be dreaming with my fucking AirPods in, just creepy
yeah, you end up
stories.
on some like, what did you say you ended up on? Some kind of, it like just kept running. Eventually, it'd be like something
Oh,
like, this is Illuminati undertones.
it was something like that. It was kind of it didn't. I wasn't getting good vibes from it. You know, it woke me up.
Well, maybe it's a good thing you woke up and could change that. I have a bad
Mm-hmm.
habit of falling asleep with my earbud in.
Yeah,
But
yeah. I usually don't mind it,
I do
but
when I can't find them.
yeah,
Damn it, I lost that thing
right.
somewhere here in the bed or my pockets. I don't know where it went.
I mean, sometimes, most of the times, they'll fall out while I'm like rolling around and shit. But sometimes I'll wake up and they're both in my ears still, and I'm like, man, I must have slept pretty good.
Nice.
Slept like a rock.
Well, maybe one of these days we'll get the Raycon sponsor.
Yeah,
Uh,
hit up
You
Ray
know,
J.
Ray J.
Yeah, that's who created those.
Oh, well, I'm gonna have to hit him up.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, brother. Well, we another long podcast talking forever.
All right.
That shirt's
Yep, it's
super dope. Wait, does it say
been
something
forever
little small letters on there?
since 2020.
Oh, nice. You
Yeah.
made that one, huh?
Yeah, I actually stole the design from Mythical, Good Mythical Morning.
Stealing from other artists.
Yep, I know, man.
Dude, it's like it was already engraved in your brain. When I was first quitting drinking and I opened up the AA book, I was this like egotistical and I read the 12 steps, like the list of them, right? And I was
Hmm.
like, "Shit, I've already done all these. I don't even need this book. I don't need AA. I've already fucking figured this shit out."
Right.
And as I've been going through it all, I'm like, God damn, I didn't know jack shit.
Hmm.
So
You're
it's
just a big dummy
interesting.
head.
I'm just a big dummy head, man. I'm looking forward to your next episode.
Yep,
And
I'll
I'm
be
gonna
dropping it tomorrow.
sweet. And I'll do this on Monday. But
Or
yeah, dude, get that footage of you living life. I'm gonna do the same thing.
yeah,
And maybe maybe once it comes to, like, Friday at the
Mm-hmm.
end of the week, I'll try, or else Saturday. I'm gonna try and do it and then release them on a Saturday. I don't know,
Yeah.
but
Word.
if you're doing it, I'm gonna do it because then I'll kind of be like, I gotta do it. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm doing it, man. I was kind of on the fence about it because no one has ever seen me in there with the camera, just being like, "Hey, you want to be on my YouTube channel?" But I don't give a fuck anymore.
Maybe there'll be a subscriber.
I mean, I'm hoping, man. That's pretty much all my subscribers so far. Is just I've been telling people like, "Yo, I started a podcast," and I'm like, "Oh, why did I tell them that?" But
I know I get self-conscious too, and somebody's like, "Hey, I've seen your video." Like,
right.
you did, and it's like that's what I want, and then I get what I want. I'm like, oh no, I'm so scared of judgment.
Uh, well, I mean, the thing is just like I was saying with my cousin, like, he was nervous to be on camera. It kind of takes a little bit of balls to, sit there and just talk about what you actually think about and put yourself out there like that. So not everyone is willing to do it, man. So we're
Well,
one step ahead of the game.
one step, one giant leap for
Yep.
mankind, and
Yep.
one small step,
For man.
one giant leap for mankind.
Mm-hmm.
I'll see you on the
Amen.
moon, brother.
All right.
All
I'll
right.
see you in my scary dreams.
All right. Wait, what? I'll be there to save you from the
Okay.
scary monsters.
Take me to Care Bear Land.
I will.
Hell yeah.
All right, brother. You have a good rest of
All
your night.
right. For sure. Love you,
Peace and
brother.
love.
Have a
Love you
good
too.
night. Word. Peace.
Peace.